Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to my channel and another video on Gran Turismo 7. It's Thursday again, so it means we have a new lap time challenge up, so let's check out the details in the game. And the new challenge is in Circuit de Spa Francorchamps in Group 3 machinery. It seems like we can choose which car we want to drive, so let's check which car suits best and what time we have to beat. So it seems like the majority of the people take a mid-engine vehicle like the Lamborghini or the Audi, and the current time to beat is a 2:20.8. So let's go for some laps and try how hard this one is. And I actually decided to go for the Audi R8 out of 2019. And already in my second lap I was able to do a 2:20.0, which is 0.8 below the goal time. But I decided this was quite easy, so I tried to go for a faster lap, and let me show you my fastest one now. So coming out of the last corner, accelerate out of first gear and try not to have oversteer, which is quite easy in the Audi R8. Take your car to the very left of the track, accelerate up to fourth gear, and then your first brake marker is the 100 board on the left hand side. Brake hard and go down to first gear, then early upshift to second and keep it really narrow to the wall on the right hand side, but not hitting it to not invalidate your lap. Now the next part is actually flat out, so accelerate all the way through, get up to fifth gear in the max. There is no need for the sixth gear, this will lose you time. And entering Eau Rouge, you can cut a lot of this curb on the left hand side and then go very narrow to the curb on the right, not hitting it, because this will give you some instability to the car. And then keep the car in fifth gear. There's really no need, at least in the Audi, to upshift to the sixth gear, it will lose you time. Position the car to the very left of the track, and then your next brake marker is actually again the 100 board on the left hand side. Again, go hard into the brakes and down to second gear, early upshift to third and keep it narrow on the right and left hander. Back the power, maintaining in third gear, only slight lift for this right hander, and then early back on the power, still in third gear, upshifting to fourth, and your next brake marker is this shadow before the curb on the left hand side. Again, brake hard and go down to second, early back up to third, keep it narrow in the corner, and then back to the power in third. Position the car to the right hand side of the track, short brake input to give the car some rotation, and as early as possible back to the power without going wide. Accelerate up to fourth gear and keep it on the right hand side, and then the next brake marker is the 50 board on the right. Short but hard brake input followed by downshift to third for rotation and early back up to fourth and accelerating all the way through this double left hander. After going up to fifth gear, position the car to the left hand side and the next brake mark is around 60 meters, so shortly before the 50 board. And slam the brakes and go down to second gear, followed by a short power input and then lifting it up to keep the car in rotation for this left hander, early back to third and back on the power. Then your next brake marker is shortly before the curb on the left hand side. Again, hit the brakes, go down to second gear, early back on the power, upshifting to third gear and then aiming for the post on this right hander. Short lift off the accelerator pedal to give it some rotation, early back on the power and accelerating all the way through up to maximum fifth gear. And the rest of the section is actually flat out until the last chicane of the track, so keep it narrow in the corners and use all the width of the track. So keeping it in fifth gear, no need for sixth gear, and then your last brake marker is in between the two 150 meter boards. Go hard into the brakes and position the car to the left, cut a lot of the curb on the inside, keeping it in first gear, try not to have too much oversteer and then early back on the power to the main straight, upshifting to second and going over the finish line, hopefully having a time and 2 million credits for the gold medal. And let's review the lap once more in chase cam. Out of the last corner, have the car in first gear, accelerate up to second gear and position the car to the very left side of the track. Upshifting to fourth, your very first brake marker will be the 100 board on the left. Brake hard and go down to first gear, early up to second, keep it narrow on the right hander and early back on the power in second gear. The next section is actually flat out through Eau Rouge, but the max gear will be fifth gear. So try to keep it on the right hand side of the track and cut a lot of the curb on the entry of Eau Rouge. Keep it narrow on the curb on the right hand side but not hit it, because it will give some instability to the car. Now keep it in fifth gear and accelerate down the camel straight, positioning the car slowly but surely to the left hand side of the track, and then your next brake marker will again be the 100 board on the left hand side. Go hard into the brakes and down to second gear, early up to third, keep it narrow in the corners. Slight power input before lifting again, and after hitting the apex of the right hander, back into the power and upshifting to fourth gear. Your next brake marker is the shadow before the curb on the left hand side. Hard into the brakes, down to second gear, early upshift to third, keep it narrow on the long right hander, shortly back on the power before giving it some short brake input for rotation to this left hander and early back on the power, accelerating and upshifting to fourth gear, keep it on the right hand side of the track. Your next brake marker is the 50 board on the right. Short but hard brake input and short downshift to third for some more rotation, early up to fourth and accelerating all the way through the left hander before going up to fifth gear. Position the car to the left of the track and your brake marker is around 60 meters. Brake down to second gear, short power input in second and then early upshift to third for the left hander. Back to the power and position the car to the left hand side again. And shortly before the curb on the left, go into the brakes down to second gear, keep it narrow on the right hander and early back on the power, upshifting to third, hitting for the post on the inside of this right hander, followed by a short lift to give more rotation to the car and not go wide. And then flat out through this last section, upshifting to fifth and trying to find a very short line through these corners. Use all the width of the track and keep it narrow for this left hander. Use all the width of the track on the exit of the corner, and then your last brake marker is in between the two 150 meter boards. Hard into the brakes and down to first gear, cut a lot of the curb on the right, let the car coast through the corner before finally going back to the power up to second gear and going over the finish line, hopefully getting a gold time and the 2 million credits. And this is my fast lap from Spa. I have to say I really like this track, so for me this challenge felt rather easy. But let me know in the comments what you think of the challenge. Is it difficult or easy for you, and what time were you able to achieve? And as usual, if this video helped you out, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. It would be highly appreciated from my side. And then I say thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.